What is going on, guys? Today, we will be doing something a little bit different. I will be going over all four ref keys, the pros, the cons, and try and give anyone who is curious an idea of the loot and returns you can expect from each key. For those of you that don't know, I post key opening videos and have opened all four ref keys in the current 1.0 patch, and they will all be linked in the description below if one of these keys in particular piques your interest. You can take a more in-depth look if you choose. Do note that this video is aimed to be more informational than anything else. There unfortunately won't be any movie-like cinematics, high-quality editing. This video really aims just to try and help people pick which key they want to run without having to watch all the other videos. If you guys are new here, we are running a giveaway for a free copy of Tarkov on Steam that will end on December 25th, 2025. We are also running another giveaway at 4,000 subs for 10 free lines of stash space. All you have to do to enter either of those giveaways, you can join both, is join the Discord, which I'll have linked below in the description, and enter via the giveaway channel. Okay, let's get into the keys. So the first key is Shatun's Hideout from Ref Level 1. It is located on woods, and in terms of ease of extraction, this one is a bit circumstantial. It's a 10 out of 10 if the car is up, because it's in the village where the car spawns. If the car isn't up, it's not always awful, because there is an extraction close by if you spawn by outskirts and have northern road block as an extraction. Otherwise, if you spawn near the room or just have like outskirts as your only extraction, it's pretty ass. You pretty much couldn't have a farther run from the room to an extraction. The closest would probably be the flare, and you essentially still would have to cut across like the dead center of the map through like the mountain around Sawmill, or just wrap essentially the entire edge of the map. So if you have the car up, it's really, really good. If you have northern roadblock and the room isn't hit, you have another extraction right nearby. But if you spawn by the room and the car is not up, I would definitely be very careful in looting the room if you're trying to extract with stuff, because it will be a very, very far journey to extraction. In terms of the loot that spawns inside the room, it's very, very good. A lot of silencers can spawn, good variable zoom scopes, which is very helpful early wipe, especially now where players have to be level 40 to be able to buy things like razors, voodoos, tangos. This key gives you a good opportunity at getting scopes consistently. There's also a lot of rare spawns for things like bitcoins, rollers, skulls, veritas picks, GP coins, which unfortunately only spawn like one at a time currently, which is useless. There's 2 armor spawns that can spawn gazelles, zucks, which have level 6 armors. They can spawn slicks, which also have level 6 armor. There's a spawn inside the little bureau on the side of the room and the mannequin directly behind the door. There's also a chance to spawn guns like the RSAS and other fully built out guns. Like I saw somebody pull out a SVD with a FLIR. I've seen someone pull out a Taiga with a FLIR. So you have a chance at guns like that. Items exclusive to this room. There's a yellow card spawn in the couch cushion. It's only worth 200k, but it's really not that bad if you consider the fact that it's only one slot and you can throw it into your pouch. So it's essentially a free 200,000 rubles if it is there. All right, the second key is Grumpy's Hideout from Ref Level 2. In terms of extraction, this key is pretty similar to Shatun's in the fact that if the car is up, it's really, really good. This key, I will say, you're going to get very heavy from, because plates are almost a guaranteed spawn. So if you do run this key and the car isn't up, you're going to have to expect to be very slow, very loud, and have to run a very far distance. So just keep that in mind. In terms of loot for this room, it's also very, very good. In this room, you can 100% guarantee that you're going to get armor plate spawns all over. There's a helmet spawn in the bathroom in the toilet. There's also a bunch of armor spawns that can spawn level 6 carriers like Zucks and Slicks like the Shatuns room. You can expect to get built out guns from certain openings. There's HKs, AS Vals, Vectors, And the specific loot to this room is high tier ammo, and that's what really makes this key for a lot of people, including myself. You can expect to get a lot of good 545 ammo like BP, BS, PPBS, and for 556 you can expect really good ammo like M855A1, M995, and SSAP. There's also a green card spawn that spawns behind the open locker door when you first run in. All right, so the third key is Voron's Hideout. And in terms of extracting, this key is probably as bad as it can get for Lega Medal keys. It's in the dead center of the map, so you probably do have the best chance at contesting it, just because no one spawns directly on it like the other keys. But in terms of getting out, you do kind of have Pier, but it's not a guarantee to be up, and it's also a very highly contested area. Otherwise, you're going to have to run to either side of the map, essentially halfway across the map, opposite way of which you came from, and you will most likely be very heavy, which will make you very, very slow, and also very, very loud, which is not ideal when you're running across the map. So the loot from Vorons, keeping on track with the video, the loot in this room is very, very good. You have a chance at silencers and scope attachments. You also have the chance at fully built out guns, similar to Grumpy's and Shatun's. There's armor spawns like Zucks and Slicks, and a lot of plate spawns as well. There's various Bitcoin and GPU spawns, and for specific loot to this key, which is the big one, and why a lot of people, including myself, like running this key, is you can get lead X's. You can also get like O scopes and other like random med stims on the table where the lead X's spawn, but you're really chasing the lead X. There's also a violet card spawn that spawns directly on the table where the lamp is. The last key from Ref Loyalty Level 4 is Leon's Hideout. This key is located on Lighthouse, and in terms of extracting, this one's probably the most complex out of all of them. I would say overall it's okay. You always have path to Shoreline, which is directly north, and it's not in a uncontested area, but it's not in a super contested area. I'll kind of like point out on the map that's on screen the areas that I would just be careful of. If you're a USEC, this is only for USECs. If you're a bear, you're most likely going to get shot when you run across the road. You do have the option to run across the road to the bridge and run under the bridge, then just run up the coastline to northern checkpoint, which you can extract from there, which will also be displayed on the map. Just do note that, again, if you're a bear, I'm pretty sure the rogues will shoot you if they're alive when you run across the bridge or run across the road to try and get to the bridge. So that second extract strategy really only applies to USECs. But that strategy has been very, very safe for me. I have not died yet doing that. In terms of loot of Leon's Hideout, like all the other ones, surprise, it's really good. There's a few suppressor spawns, there's some scope spawns, a lot of attachment spawns, there's rare spawns for things like bitcoins, figurines, graphics cards, also a bunch of armor plate spawns, carrier spawns, and loot specific to this room. I don't think you can get Red Rebels out of any other room. You definitely can get Red Rebels out of this room, and there is also a red key card spawn inside the guitar in the far corner of the room, so make sure you check for that as well. Real quick, just my final thoughts on the keys. I think the question people probably have most is what's the best way to make money with these keys? And in my opinion, I would tell people to go with Shatun's Hideout. I just think that it's the best mix in terms of there's Bitcoin spawns, there's other rare spawns, there's a lot of suppressor spawns and scope spawns, and you have the option of having the car potential like literally being right there to use. And if the car's not up, you obviously, one, just don't have to hit the room, and two, you can go for something like the Northern UN roadblock if you have that extraction. If I needed PvP gear, like let's say I was trying to get ready to do Test Drive Part 3 with the AK-12, I would probably run Grumpy's room because, like I said, it's the only room that spawns high-tier ammo, and you could find a lot of high-tier ammo for like 545, like the Test Drive 3 example, like BS, PPBS, BP, even like 7N40 commonly spawn there in the big 120 packs. You also, if you're someone who likes playing labs and are trying to get like good 5.56 ammo for the M4 or the HK, it's another great option because it spawns a lot of M995 and SSAP. I think Vorons, in my opinion, is the best way for a new player to get a LEDX. If you have Voron's Hideout and you need a LEDX for a quest like Private Clinic to get your Thick Case or Crisis to push towards Kappa, I would definitely recommend you going for Voron's Hideout. It's my personal go-to for a LEDX, and I think in terms of money, it probably does match Shatun's. I think you're going to have more difficulty extracting, and the room is going to be a little bit more contested just based off the location of the key. And obviously, like I said before, the extracting on this key is going to be more of a pain in the ass because you're going to have to essentially run halfway across the map either way to get out. So that's why I would say in terms of money, Shatun's edges it out just because you're going to have a higher extraction rate. But if you need a LEDX, I would definitely push for Vorons. And my final thoughts on Leon, I don't think it's really the best at anything. I don't think it's bad either. It definitely has the potential. Graphics cards, Red Rebels, has silencer spawns, has scope spawns like the other keys mentioned. But the fact that it's on Lighthouse and a lot of people don't like running Lighthouse, I would say if you're just looking for something to run on while you're doing quests on Lighthouse, I wouldn't be opposed to you buying this just to sit there and try and make money. Maybe after a raid where you try to go for shooterborn and heaven kills or whatever, or test drive 1 kills, and you're late in the raid and just want something to hit for some rubles. I definitely don't think it's a bad key, but in my opinion, these other 3 keys are much more convenient options on better maps with probably better, if not equal loot in terms of monetary value.